VAR has undoubtedly been the most controversial addition to the world of football in recent years, and since its inception, it seems that we can't go a single week without witnessing some kind of eyebrow-raising call from the system. However, the idea behind VAR is undoubtedly a good one, and in fact, there have been calls for years for football to make use of video technology, especially in order to help referees make the correct calls in some difficult circumstances. The following 5 incidents, for instance, could certainly have made use of a VAR intervention. Number 1. The Hand of God, Argentina versus England. One of the most infamous moments in football history occurred during the 1986 World Cup quarter-final between bitter rivals England and Argentina. At the end of the first half, with the game still tied at 0-0, the ball was sent into the air by a skewed clearance by England's Steve Hodge. And as it dropped towards the goal, Argentine forward Diego Maradona leapt into the air to challenge goalkeeper Peter Shilton, and appeared to head it into an empty net. Replays, however, confirmed Maradona had in fact punched the ball into the net with his left hand. But as the referee and his assistants failed to spot it, the goal was given despite the protests of the England players. Later, the Argentine labeled the move the Hand of God. Number 2. JONG versus XABI Alonso, Spain versus Netherlands. 30 minutes into the game, the ball is bouncing everywhere and no team has real control over the ball. Eventually, the ball falls to Alonso, who calmly takes the ball down with his chest. It was at this moment the Dutch tank came flying in, studs first, and hit Alonso straight at the chest. Every player and everyone there was expecting the player to be sent off. He somehow got away with the yellow card. It's clear that if VAR had been in play, De Jong would have been sent off after a quick review. Number 3. Cristiano Ronaldo versus NANI, Spain versus Portugal. In 2010, Portugal faced Spain in a friendly. But considering the rivalry between the two teams, this was no ordinary friendly game. Both teams lined up their strongest team possible at that time. It was in the 35th minute. Cristiano Ronaldo ran straight at the Spanish defenders. He dropped Piqué, who went flying the wrong way, before feinting Puyol and lobbing the ball over Casillas. But just as the ball went over the line, Ronaldo's teammate Nani headed the ball, and the referee gave the goal as an offside. However, if VAR was in use, the referee would have seen that the ball was already over and that Nani was never offside. Number 4. Lampard's goal, Germany versus England. After the Germans took an early 2-goal lead, England fought back with a goal from Matthew Upson. Just few minutes later, Frank Lampard fired a lobbed shot from the edge of the box that went over the German keeper Manuel Neuer, hit the bar and bounced over the goal line before bouncing back out into Neuer's arms. Somehow, the referee failed to register the fact that the ball had crossed the line and immediately chalked off the goal. England were left shell-shocked and eventually succumbed to a 4-1 loss. Had that goal rightly been given, England would have gone into halftime with the game tied at 2-2 and would probably have held a psychological advantage due to the nature of their comeback. And if that were the case, then the game would have seen a different outcome. Henry's handball, France versus Ireland 2010. The two sides were facing off in a 2-legged playoff for a spot at the tournament, and after France defeated Ireland 0-1 at Croke Park, a Robin Keane goal at the Stade de France was enough to send the tie into extra time. With a penalty shootout seemingly looming, a Florent Malouda free kick found its way to an Henry inside the goal area, who handled the ball with his hand twice, stopping it going out of play and bringing it under control before crossing for William Gallas to head home. Quite how the referee who allowed the goal missed the infraction was anyone's guess, and naturally the Irish players were furious. But despite the protestations, the goal stood and France won the tie via the away goal rule. Before leaving, we here at Breathe Football would like to remind you to hit the notification bell to not miss a single upload. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram for all the latest news on football.